Hello artists! My name is Melissa Kowal and I'm going to be your teacher for today. What we're going to be making is this adorable little fox painting. This fox painting has been inspiring artists for at least 10 years now. There's a bunch of artists that do these fox paintings with the trees in the background and the darker trees in the foreground. That's called atmospheric perspective. Things farther away have less value and less characteristics in them, and things closer to your eye you can see clearer with more value and more detail. So hopefully you either grabbed an art kit or you're just gonna follow along with the stuff that you have at home, but we're gonna be drawing a fox and painting all of this incredible detail in this picture. All right, let's get started. All right, we are in the studio. What we need for our amazing fox in the forest painting is either everything that was in your art kit that you hopefully picked up, or if you're just doing this at home by yourself, what you're gonna need is a piece of paper to paint on. That was in your art kit. A piece of plastic. You can totally use just a piece of paper that you have laying around, or cardboard that you painted white, or maybe something recycled that you can paint on. Just any piece of clear plastic, anything that won't stick to your paint will totally do. Then you have an amazing art kit right here with a big paintbrush and a little paintbrush, all of your paint, my card, which is just Beeble Art Center. Again, my name's Melissa. So if you want to schedule anything, you absolutely can with this card. And then this bag that I put in most of your art kits is totally compostable. So if you want to just throw this out in your garden, bury it, it'll totally decompose. Now let's talk about the stuff that probably wasn't in your art kit. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be taping my paper to a piece of cardboard. Sometimes paper gets a little curved and a little misshapen, so it's always great just to tape it down while you're painting. I'm also gonna need a pencil, some tape, and a water cup. Okay? So grab all your materials, come on back to the video, and we're gonna start drawing out our amazing forest painting. All right, to start out, we need to tape down our paper. So grab your tape, and you can tape down your paper however you like. I'm just gonna throw a few tape rolls onto my piece of cardboard. The best paper to use is watercolor paper, just because it can hold water really well. But if you have a piece of computer paper, you can still make something beautiful. All right, I'm taping down my paper. Great. Now we can start drawing. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start drawing in my horizon line right here where the sky meets the ground. So my horizon line is a beautiful snowy landscape where the snow is down here and the sky's up there. So I'm just gonna draw just a little curve line right in the middle of my paper. I always say draw light until you get it right. So draw nice and light just in case you need to erase later. Now I'm gonna start drawing my little fox here. Now, if you wanna have your fox playing, if you wanna have a few foxes, one of my students, when they painted this, had a fox den in one of the trees, if you wanna do that. Maybe there could be a mother fox looking after her baby foxes, whatever you'd like. But I'm just gonna draw again my teeny tiny fox here. My fox starts as an egg-shaped head, literally just an egg. Then I'm gonna put triangle ears on top. Then a round, cute little body with round, ooh, that's a C right there, and then a backwards C on the other side. And then you can either have the tail flipping up in like a playful manner, or you can have your tail just chilling on the ground like I have there. I think I'm gonna have this one be a little bit more playful. On the tail, we're gonna draw a zigzag line, just like that. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna add some feet. The feet are just 4 straight lines with circles on the bottom. I know this looks really silly, but when we paint it in, it'll look really cute. Then if you can see, I'm just going to attach my body to my head. To attach my body to my head. All right, then I'm gonna add my sweet little face on my guy. I have a triangle nose, a sweet little smile, kind of like this rounder shape. So I'm going to make my nose a little bit sharper, erase part of my egg. Right on the end of my head is where my nose is gonna go. Triangle. And you're gonna draw just a little smile there. And right where your nose is, this is where you're going to make that bottom part where we're gonna be painting white. Curve up to the bottom of the head. And if you need to, rewatch this a few times. Redraw your fox a few times. I know this wasn't my first try. I had to erase, I had to really think about what shapes were where. I'm gonna have a little fuzzy head on top, fuzzy little ears inside of the ear. Oh my gosh, she's so cute. Maybe trace over some of your lines, make them a little bit darker. Add that white belly. I'm drawing the white belly from the neck, and I'm actually attaching right onto those legs. So cute. Oh, I love it. And then just a sweet little eye is just a curved line. Oh my gosh, so sweet looking. I love foxes, they're so cute. You can even add a little tooth. Oh, I love it, so cute. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna draw a few straight lines for some trees. I'm gonna draw a few trees in my background, all those straight lines, and then I'm gonna draw a few straight lines. This is called my foreground, right there and right there. So draw trees behind your wiggly horizon line, and then a few trees in front of your wiggly horizon line, okay? Then once you're ready, put away your pencil and start opening your paints. Now these are really tricky to open. Honestly, if you have a friend there or somebody who's pretty strong, have them open these for you because these are really tricky. All right, they're all open. That took a little while. I also got a little bit messy. That's totally fine. Now I just have artist hands. All right, what we're gonna do first is we're gonna be watering down our paint to make something called a wash. The wash is that background sky color. So grab your big paintbrush and your water, and you're gonna go into this lightest blue I have here. The colors that I gave you are white, orange, blue, dark navy blue, black, and another white, just in case your other white gets a little messy. You're then gonna grab your plastic sheet right here, your see-through plastic sheet, and you are going to put a little bit of blue on that plastic sheet with a little bit of water. This is tempera paint here, but we're gonna be using it almost like a gouache or a watercolor. A gouache is just kind of really chalky paint. So I'm gonna wash my paintbrush really well. The way I wash my paintbrush is I tap on the bottom and then I wipe on the side. That gets out all the extra water. All right, now that I have my very light blue, I'm gonna go into some white, mix it together. And I want enough blue paint to be able to cover all of my upper half of my paper. I think I want to be a little bit bluer than that. Bloop. Whoa, that got really blue. This is kind of the fun part, mixing your own colors. This is always my favorite part of painting. All right, let's see. Ooh, that's really nice. Now I want it to be nice and watery, so when I paint with it, it's almost see-through. All right, let me test. Now remember, this is your paper. You get to test and have fun with it. Oh, that's super pretty. I'm gonna do one a little bit more white. Do you see how see-through my paint is? That's exactly how you want it to be. And remember, I'm painting only the upper half. This is my sky color. I'm gonna see this through the trees. I'm painting all the way to the top of my paper. I love that. Oh, that is so pretty. Just a soft little blue. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna paint my entire bottom white, which I know sounds really weird, but I wanna have a little bit of texture because we're gonna add a few snowy drifts to that later. So I'm gonna get a lot of water, and I can go right into my white and just paint that on all the way to my wiggly line. This is also a great time to kind of tidy up if you accidentally went over your line. White paint's the best. Awesome. That's my first layer. Now this paint dries super, super fast, but if you need to wait a second, you totally can. We're gonna start with our super pale back trees. And I know these trees look really complicated, but they're actually a lot easier than you think. These trees are so super pale because they're far back in our picture. The more far back an image is when we see it, the less detail and the less value we get. So this is called atmospheric perspective. Essentially, it's almost like it makes it look foggy. So your paintbrushes probably have a little bit of glue in them, so we're going to just wash those guys. Tap, tap, tap. Wipe, wipe, wipe. And I'm using my teeny tiny paintbrush here. You can barely see it on camera. And I'm just going right back in with that blue. And I'm only picking 1 or 2 trees. So I'm gonna do this really tall one right here. I'm gonna just paint on my line that I drew earlier. That's it. Okay. Then all trees are really thick at the base and get smaller as they go up. So this is my tree trunk here. I'm gonna make this a little bit thicker. And then it gets smaller the further you get up there. Okay? Then I have a whole bunch of branches on my trees. I'm just gonna put a bunch of sticks off my tree. And notice they're kind of nice and curved. Poop. Boop. And just like on our tree trunk, we're gonna make them go thick to thin. Thick to thin. Thick to thin. All of my branches will go thick to thin. Make it teeny tiny at the top. Boop. All right, now we're gonna keep doing that. We're gonna add branches on our branches. Boop. Boop. Branches on our branches, branches on our branches. Branches on our branches. Branch, branch. Remember, thick to thin. All branches are thick to thin. And most branches have branches on their branches. Oh my gosh, there's just branches truly everywhere. You can go kind of nuts with branches. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Oh yeah, awesome. We're gonna do that one more time in another tree, but our next tree is just gonna be a teeny bit darker. So I'm gonna add a little bit of the blue into the color I already made to my next tree. I think it's gonna be this one. And I'm gonna paint this tree exactly the same. Thick to thin. Just a little bit darker, just to make it look like it's a little closer. Alrighty, now that I have this color here, I'm gonna put a teeny little shadow just next to my trees, and then I'm gonna go in with some white and blend that shadow in, just to make it look super realistic. Oh, that looks awesome. All right, now let's make the color even darker. I'm gonna put a lot of just this light blue, this turquoisey color, and I'm gonna pick my next victim. Let's go over here. Again, just draw on your stick. This one's gonna be even smaller than my other two trees. And then paint it thicker to thinner, like the tiniest little triangle in the world. My next tree is done. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm finally gonna add some of my dark blue to my turquoise. So I'm gonna grab a little bit of turquoise, tiny little bit of that dark blue, add a little bit of water. Oh, it's super pretty. Now I'm gonna go to my next tree, which will be, how about right here, where I drew this other line. We have one more behind here. I don't know if you can see that teeny tiny little stick. This is gonna be another darker layer. I'm just gonna add a little bit more dark blue to my color. And I'm gonna make this really nice and thick. Now that all of our background's nice and finished, we're gonna start working on these two trees. These two trees should be bigger than everything in the background. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a bunch of this blue over here. And I am just going to put a little teeny poke of black. Even that might have been too much. That black is so powerful. So I'm gonna grab a little bit more blue. And it should be kind of like a greeny, turquoisey color. We want it to be nice and dark. Not even more navy. There we go. Perfect. Nice and dark. So it should be around that color when it goes on your paper. Okay? Now you've seen me do this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more times. We're gonna again paint our tree. Then I'm just gonna grab a little bit of white with a clean paintbrush. Tap, 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 wipe, wipe, wipe. And I'm gonna just touch the bottom with my clean white, and that's gonna make a shadow for me. Being pretty careful. Perfect. Awesome. Beautiful. Now I'm going to start on this tree. And this is going to be the darkest tree of them all. So I'm going to add a little bit more black. Remember, a little goes a long way with that black. Let's check. Is it darker? Yeah, awesome. Teeny bit of water. And this tree should be a teeny bit bigger than that last one. All right. If you want, you can even add like a little hole with some black somewhere. I think I want to put a little hole in this tree. If you want to add any other woodland creatures, you totally can. All right, and again, I'm tapping and I'm wiping. I'm gonna grab some white to add our shadow underneath. Teeny little shadow. All my shadows should be going around the same way. Awesome. Okay. Now let's talk about a little bit of snow. In my original picture, I don't have any snow, but if you do want to add some snow, with your small little paintbrush, turn it over and use the back of the handle here. You can just tap that into some white paint right here, and you can dot on some snowflakes. You can totally try splatter painting, but I think that's a little bit messy for this project. It's just a few little dots of snow. Oh, it's so cute. I like it. Now let's start talking about our amazing little friend here, the fox. Our fox is a little bit more complicated and we want it to be nice and clean. So what I did is I went and washed off my paintbrushes and I got brand new water. I also just turned my mixing paper around just so I have a nice clean area to work with. If you notice, we have a very sweet little outline here in our pencil that we did earlier. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to use just my clean paintbrush and some white. I'm not watering it down at all. On our example, it has a white chest and belly, a white tail, and white face. I'm going to paint over a lot of my pencil lines. I'm painting the belly. I know it sounds just so silly because all of this is already white. You never want to leave anything bare on your paper. You always want to have paint smothering the whole thing. Alright, my mouth and my tail. Perfect. Oh, and a little bit of my ear. Boop, boop, boop. If you have a smaller paintbrush, that would totally work. A million times better. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna clean off my tiny paintbrush and go right into my orange. And again, I'm not gonna water this down at all. In my orange, I'm also gonna add a little bit of white. Just a little bit. There we go. Just to make it show up better on my paper. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start to find things in gray. So the first thing that I'm gonna make nice and gray are my feet. But before I make that gray, I'm gonna do a teeny little dot of black for my nose. Oh, it's so cute. Oop. Little black nose. And I'm just gonna paint those circle feet. Then, with all this black I have here, I'm going to clean off my paintbrush really, really well, adding a bunch of white to my black. And I'm just kind of outlining my feet. A teeny bit of gray can go around the tail too, right here. I also like to outline the tip of the tail in gray. Maybe even a little under that chin. I'm gonna go back in and blend in a little bit more white too. Even on those ears. All right, now I'm gonna use the back of my paintbrush. Going right into my white. Now I'm almost gonna use this like a pencil or a quill. And I'm just drawing in those ears with the back of my paintbrush. With the front of my paintbrush, I'm gonna go in with my white. And just blend in that body. Oh, cute. I love it. All right. Now I want to go a little bit more orange really quickly. So if you notice, I kind of paint everything twice, just so it really shows up well. And a lot of gouache painters paint that way. I really suggest you look up the word gouache and really look into it. It's a really cool kind of paint. All right, the piece de resistance. Oh, I can't help myself. Wait, not before the piece de resistance. Beep, beep, beep. Oh, so cute. I had to, I'm sorry. Oh, I love it. Okay. Use that back of the paintbrush with a little bit of black. And paint in your eye. And your mouth. Oh my gosh, she's so cute. I love it. Okay, now here's where you can kind of fuss around with it. Do you want to add maybe some more shadows or casts or make it look a little bit more windswept? Do you want to maybe add some fox prints? That's pretty cute. Do you want to add any siblings to your fox? Fox prints are just circles, just so you all know. Do you want to add in any finishing touches, any corrective measures? Once you really love it and you are finished with it, then you get to do the most exciting thing, and that's signing your artwork. Now I get to sign it with my initials. I suggest you put the initials of your name and when did you make it. So I am Miss Kowal, and I made it in 2022. All right, let's take a look at these in a little bit better lighting, shall we? Great job, guys. Let's look at this a little closer up. So we have our incredible little fox that you can totally go in, add more details, give him more friends after your painting dries. We have all of these incredibly detailed, beautiful branched trees right here, and you finished the whole thing. So I'm so proud of you, and I can't wait to see if you completed this or if you created your very own fox painting. I'd love to see it. So check out that card that I shared in the art kits, or you can just at Beeble Art Center on Instagram. I would love to see what you guys created. Great job, and remember to sign your work. Okay guys, I'll see you next time. Have a good day, bye.